Peace, peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate, the rate at which we're vibing. We're not going too far in the future. We're not going too far in the past. Right now. Right now I want to talk about different little aspects of crystals, more so with the formation of them and the correlation on the as above so below level, as within so without, on the level of being interconnected with us and other things, and just how a crystal's formation in essence is what gives it a crystal formation is what gives it its energy. That's also what goes into giving it its energy. So the color and the different elements that's inside of it, of course, gives it its energy, but also those elements and those colors are due to what happened beforehand. So we're gonna kind of get into different little factors of the crystal formation. Now like an amethyst cluster, or like any type of geode or druze type of formation, that basically grows in a crevice. It's like a pocket, like an air pocket underground. And for the most part, most minerals comes from igneous, I don't know if I'm saying this right, igneous rock, igneous rocks. But the igneous rocks basically are formed directly from magma. Magma is like the molten or melted rock that that shoots out from the volcano and turns into quote unquote lava. As a matter of fact, speaking of lava, your lava stones are pumice or pumice. I don't know how to say Pumice is also another name. Matter of fact, like those little seem like rocks with holes in it to like. They make them to also like scrub the dead skin off of your feet and stuff like that. In a lot of cases, that'd be lava stone. But lava stone, you got two different igneous rocks. You got volcanites and you got plutonites. The volcanites are what they call minute crystals, and it's crystals that are come from the top layer of things. So the volcanites will be closer to the top of the ground, in that area. And then the plutonites would be like, if I'm saying right, yeah, plutonites. And the name being derived with Pluto, you know what I'm saying? Because it's from that deeper, Pluto is that extreme, that Pluto goes deep into those waters, and, that those crystals in this area. And too, just like with that correlation, so say for instance, a vulcanite could help bring things to the surface, you know what I'm saying? And a plutonite crystal could allow for you to dive deeper into aspects. So just right there, you got crystal, like the healing properties of crystals just out of, seeing that there are vulcanites and plutonites. And vulcanites are, again, like the crystals that kind of be closer to the crust, closer to the top surface, in which those crystals will promote the energy of bringing things to the surface, And then the plutonites, crystals that are formed deeper into the earth. And that energy, would allow for you to dig deeper into your spiritual vibes or, go deeper in some kind of way. Now, that's not to say that vulcanites doesn't allow for you to go deep and plutonites doesn't bring things up to the surface. But, again, with each uniqueness of each one, it deals with, again, how it's actually formed in essence. And, another example of vulcanites would be like a rhyolite or rhyolite, which is like rainforest jasper or leopard skin jasper, and also obsidian. And speaking of, again, like what a crystal goes through in the process of it becoming a crystal, you know what I'm saying? Because which I'm gonna go back to this, but what really plays a factor in crystals formation is heat, pressure, and speed of cooling. And that correlates into our life experience. You think about the factors of pressure. You experience certain little pressures in life, you know what I'm saying? So what kind of pressures you experience in life determine what kind of crystal you are, You know, as above, so below, as within, so without. So again, the same way crystals form, in essence, we form in that same way. You know, you always hear me say pressure makes a diamond. You're going through the pressure in order to become that beautiful diamond, you know what I'm saying? But if you don't go through that pressure, you're just going to be a lump of coal. You know, you're going to be the mineral known as a lump of coal until you receive that pressure and turn into, you know, a diamond. You know, and there's also too the aspect of having room to grow. You know, like an amethyst or like certain quartz crystals, they grow so big because they grow in little crevices. Like, you know, that's why I like geodes. Geodes are like the rock. Like, if you ever seen a whole geode, it's like look like a rock, a bigger rock with nothing in it. But if you crack a geode open, it'll have nothing but little, you know, tiny little crystals or druzy, like the little druzy effect. Druzy mean, you know, having like a bunch of little micro crystals in it. You know. But again, the way amethyst and what else grows like that, agate, apophyllite, you know, and amethyst is quartz. So quartz, chalcedony, you know, tourmaline, you know, they all grow in like little cracks and crevices and little veins or whatever, you know. And it allows for like the minerals to grow in that crevice over time, you know what I'm saying, unbothered. You know, so that's the same thing with our growth and working with some of these crystals that allow for us to, you know, grow over time and give us room to grow, so to speak. You know, which, say for instance, an amethyst may promote you to, you know, be by yourself a little more and, you know, again, have room to grow, you know, instead of always being packed tight with some other energies or things of this nature. It's like, you know, working with this crystal allow for you to have that space to grow, just like how the formation of the crystal itself is formed. It's because it has a little crevice, a little crack somewhere, you know, in the earth's crust or underneath, you know what I'm saying, deep in the earth. And it allows for that, you know, for that, the formation of that crystal to take place over time. And with that room to grow, it is allowed to grow bigger, you know, due to the space that it is located in. So basically, the crystals are allowed to grow big because they are unbothered in their growth, you know. And, you know, back to the different factors of, you know, again, of how crystals are formed. You got pressure, again, like pressure, we go through pressure, that forms a different diamond or a different, you know, mineral out of us, you know. Heat, you know, when you're going through that heat, when they say you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen, you know. If you can't stand the heat, stay in the kitchen, you know what I'm saying? You know, and deal with what you gotta deal with. So, you know, heat also plays a factor in the crystal formation. That also may play a factor as far as promoting a fiery energy. Like, so if it took a lot of heat to make whatever crystal that you're dealing with, that crystal may embody you know, a fiery aspect, or that crystal may put some heat on you, you know, or heat or pressure, you know what I'm saying, put some heat, you know, if it's dealing with heat, you know, of course, put some heat on you. Or if that crystal was made with pressure, you know, it's gonna probably have some type of vibe of applying pressure to you on your growth, you know. Also, another factor is the space that a crystal is occupying, you know, because basically, you know, the space in which we occupy through our growth, you know, affects who and what we become, our environments, you know, when you think about that. Like, you know, my energy is the way it is, and, you know, has, you know, deal with certain things due to me being a crystal that comes from Opelousas, Louisiana in 1987. You know, my crystal came into being in that area, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that space that, you know, my crystal came up in, you know, aka my being, my bodysuit, you know, because again, this is, you know, made out of earth, you know, in essence. I'm not saying essence, you know, it is, but you know, so again, the space, you know, that a crystal is in determines, you know, its formation, like, you know, what type of crystal it'll become in essence. And also another factor is quote unquote time. You know, time that it takes for you to go through your growing experience, you know what I'm saying? That shapes us as well, you know. So you got pressure, heat, space, and time, you know. And again, having time, because with the amethyst, not only it has space, but it also has time to grow, you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna promote that energy for you compared to a Moldavite that's like, shit, get it together right now. Like, just like how Moldavite hits the ground, like Moldavite is a meteorite, you know what I'm saying? A meteorite comes unannounced and it just, you know what I'm saying? So you getting, you know, heat and pressure, you know, all out the blue. The timing was quick, you know, it wasn't no slow formation to make Moldavite. It was quick. You know what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of us experience that strong awakening energy when we're working with Moldavite, because it's due to the strong energy, you know, to the way it was formed, you know, fast impact, you know, quick pressure, quick heat, you know what I'm saying? Because again, that's something, you know, crash lands into the earthly plane, you know, and it creates a certain type of pressure. So Moldavite embodies the pressure, heat, and speed of cooling aspect as far as, like, you know, with the growth. And Moldavite hits our energy field in the manner, again, that it was formed. So just like a meteorite, you know, a meteorite crash landing, you know, that energy comes in, you know, with that type of little punch, you know. It's like and also it comes in abrupt and unannounced, you know. It's abrupt and unannounced transformation, just like you know, carving a chunk into earth. Because say for instance, you know, earth just chilling, you know, just vibing, and all of a sudden, like this meteorite comes crashing down and knock a big chunk out of it, you know. And the earth is transformed quickly, you know, due to that process of, you know, that meteorite, you know, that hit, you know, and turned it into Moldavite. You know, like again, it's a quick transformation, and that's why Moldavite works with us in that manner. You know what I'm saying? Where it's a quick transformation. And I got multiple videos on Moldavite for you to check out as well. But another aspect, you know, one of my favorite crystals to talk about too is Obsidian. You know. Obsidian actually comes from magma and lava flow. You know, basically it's an igneous vulcanite. You know, so obsidian is a vulcanite, meaning it's growing closer to the surface and not going deeper. Now you would say, well, shit, you know, Black Obsidian does allow for you to go deeper into your subconscious, you know, and then deeper into your being. Yeah, you know, it does, but look what it does too. You know, the process of what it does, you know, although being tied to something deep, you know, it brings things to the surface, you know, and obsidian is created on the surface. So basically, when the magma, or aka lava flow, once it's coming out the volcano, the lava flow goes into a quick cooling situation. In most cases, like going into the water, you know, that extreme heat meets that quick cooling process, so it creates a shock. You know, it's like, oh shit. Like you ever like been chilling and got like a cold ass bucket of water dumped on you out the blue. Matter of fact, I remember, yeah, they was doing a little challenge at one time. It was like the little water challenge where you had to, you know, get a bucket of cold water dumped on you or something of that nature, you know. But that shock, you know, and everything is a growing experience, you know. You know, learning what it feel like to go through a certain type of shock and growth in that sense. But again, with the Black Obsidian, you know, it's that lava flow, you know, touches that water and it's like, oh shit, and it turns into glass. And matter of fact, obsidian is amorphous, so, you know, that's another thing too. It carries this unorthodox energy to it in essence, because it doesn't have any crystal lattice or you know, sacred, or should I say geometrical crystal lattice or molecular structure to it. You know, it's amorphous. Amorphous meaning it has like no form, kind of like chrysocolla in essence. But again, that quick cooling process. So again, another quick process, like being put into shock. So that black obsidian, bringing up these shadow aspects to the surface, it may, oh shit, may shock us, it may call like, oh damn, I wasn't ready to deal with this energy, type of vibe, puts us into a shocking place, in essence. Not say shocking, but place of being shocked in essence. So again, those different aspects play into, how the crystal is formed, plays into the energy that it gives off. And also, you just see many as above, so below aspects with dealing with crystals. Because, say, for instance, magma is like the physical representation of the triple darkness stage. Basically, the three trimesters are that Ein Sof, and Ein Sof the three triple darkness layers above the top Sephiroth of Ketha on the tree of life. But the magma, basically, the magma is where you get all the different crystals from. So, like, say for instance, one little volcano, or let's just say one little area where they got some magma, may have like multiple different crystals that come out of it. Like, you might get quartz, agate, apophyllite, smoky quartz, and tourmaline, all out of this one, little flow of magma. And two is also in consideration with the certain area you're coming from, So it has that's why I said it has a physical representation of being connected with the triple darkness, because the triple darkness stage is no thing, completely no thing. It has nothing to do with location or anything, no thing, in essence, quantumly interconnected to everything, which I'm gonna get into that aspect too. But so basically, the magma is like that chaos, or that unorderly primordial soup, the void of potential. Because when everything is in the magma stage, you don't know what crystal gonna come out from that magma energy. And also, speaking on like the formation of crystals, is almost like out of the magma, is almost like how you're doing like jelly preserves or making jelly, and you got all that sugar or whatever in whatever you're making, and as you're making it in the liquid form, you don't really see it, but then over time you may have like some little sugar crystals form at the top of the jelly or at the top of the jar or whatever, whatever you're making, you're doing preserves, and then as it start cooling, the little crystals start to form, in essence, as above, so below, as within, so without, basically like that same process, and magma is not identical everywhere, hence different crystals forming in different areas, So, this little aspect where magma is not identical everywhere, that takes it from the realm of being directly correlated with the triple darkness or the no thing stage, because the no thing has nothing to do with where it's located at. It is the no thing, it has no location, and it has a location at the same time, in essence, but still a correlation nonetheless, of like, being born out of that void of potential, out of that chaos, out of that primordial soup, But again, the magma that's in Madagascar will give you, your ocean jaspers and your Amazonites, or different things of that nature in that area, and then somewhere else, it'll give you more quartz or apophyllite, or other crystals. Like, it just depends on what a magma flow is. And as I'm speaking on that, it just made me think too to just speak on this situation as I'm doing a video about, like, being a triple darkness, and because a lot's been coming down lately at making sure we correct that everything's one type of situation. Like, no, it's more so everything is interconnected and not necessarily one, because when you think of it as one, you'll kind of lose the balance of you being your unique soul spark on your journey, and realizing you're interconnected again. Like, if you look at it as we're all one, then you'll start to lose your soul to a certain extent of losing your toroidal field spin, because you're gonna kind of, oh, we're all one, so instead of eating food, I could just put food in your mouth because we're all one, you know what I'm saying? I could just suffer and be a martyr and give to you, because as long as you doing good, I don't have to be doing good because we're all one. It's like a reverse psychology to get you to fuck over yourself, Everything is interconnected, and I think about, so say for instance, interconnected through our relationship to the no thing. The universe is not necessarily one, but it is quantumly connected. And I think about the example of like Lucy, the movie Lucy. If you haven't watched it, it tapped into multiple realms on there. But after Lucy went back into the no thing, you know what I'm saying? Basically like towards the end of the movie, where she kind of just like, disappeared in essence, because going back into the no thing, and basically quantumly interconnected, being able to instantaneously appear in certain worlds or torus fields in the blink of an eye. So, let me say that again, it's not being one, like, reason why it may seem like everything is one, because certain energies could quantumly move instantaneously at a snap of a finger, a blink of an eye, snap of a finger, blink of an eye, whatever, to human terminologies or phrases to conceptualize this. But we are, and quantum, even the word quantum, I'm using that for lack of a better word, because even my spirit told me, to kind of say that, like, hey, for the English word that I could find in a moment, you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying, though. But everything is quantumly interconnected, and not necessarily one big glob or group. It's like quantum interconnection. So with quantumly being interconnected, I could instantaneously pop up in any vortex, like, in a matter of, no second, you know what I'm saying? Like, instantaneously, I could appear in certain areas. And from the movie, like Lucy, when she disappeared into everything, she basically, sent a message through the phone like, hey, I'm everywhere, type of vibe, But in that moment, think about it, like she wasn't, all one with everything to the extent of like being everything at once. Because then, she would have been like, because I think about Morgan Freeman, I think was in that movie, she would have been talking through Morgan Freeman character, or through, the other guy that was in the movie, or just, she would have been in everything and everybody, you know what I'm saying, compared to, like, nah, she was just able to now have access to quantumly move through different worlds or torus fields instantaneously, you know what I'm saying? Because as my hands moving, are my hands moving, or is it quantumly, appearing in a torus field, so like, like say for instance, like, even though you may not see it, there's little atoms and torus fields everywhere, you know what I'm saying, waiting for that potential, because say for instance, it's empty right now, but it has potential for my hand to move right here, you know what I'm saying, and move around, like, it's that whole that vibe again of quantum movement, interconnectedness, being able to, like Goku's instant transmission, to be able to appear, anywhere at the snap of a finger. That's also what Dune, the movie Dune, was speaking on with the spice. They was harvesting the spice, and the spice allowed for you, like when you take the spice, you could travel interdimensionally without having to necessarily physically go anywhere, which that's the whole thing in the truth of it, you know what I'm saying, is traveling without having to necessarily go anywhere, But again, it doesn't mean that she was technically one with everything, like it was just a quantum interconnectedness, but I digress. But just want to, dealing with the magma and, that that triple darkness connection. And you know, again, like, because when quartz and tourmaline come out, quartz and tourmaline or apophyllite or agate, you know, they are what they are after they are formed. You know, yeah, they're interconnected through you know, through the aspect of the magma that they come from, but they still have a unique individual energy that they give off in their now. You know, they're no longer in that form of it, you know. So it's, you know, being interconnected and not just still all one in essence. We remember, you know, we ask for the experience to, you know, have these unique individual experiences, you know, while still maintaining interconnectedness, of course, but it was for unique experiences, you know what I'm saying? Expansion of going through different worlds or different, you know, torus fields or chakras in essence. Now, another aspect, you know, that kind of, you know, I looked at quartz and say, for instance, the formation of quartz, again, it needs that open space to grow. And there's no coincidence that one of the crystals that's tied to Sagittarius is quartz. And, you know, like a Sagittarius like to move, you know, it got like to travel, like to expand, you know, so it needs room to move around. It's also connected with Jupiter, and Jupiter, you know, deals with expansive energy, you know. So it's no coincidence that, you know, quartz needs that expansion or that room to grow, to expand to a large crystal in essence, you know. So seeing how quartz grow and seeing, you know, the process of its growth correlating to the Sagittarius and Jupiter energy, you know. And then again, the plutonite crystals formed deeper in Earth will help for going deeper into your being, you know. And again, not to say that a vulcanite crystal wouldn't allow for that to happen. And obsidian was a good example, because obsidian allows for you to go, you know, tap into the deeper aspects. But, you know, for the most part, though, it's due to it bringing it to the surface, you know, so still having that vulcanite nature and the way it operates, you know. And another little form of crystals, it's like, I'm about to slaughter this name, but it's like almost like pneumonia, pneumatolytic. It's basically like when gas vapors from magma penetrate into neighboring rocks, and this may lead to a mineral formation, you know. So when a gas from magma, you know, as a matter of fact, that's why in essence, you know, lava stone may have like those little, well, it could be gas or you know, air pockets, so to speak, you know, which air is to a certain extent gas. But anyway, you know, when those gas vapors penetrate into a neighboring rock, you know, that gas mixing with whatever neighboring rock that is going to create another mineral. And I thought, caught the vibe of the download about how like these crystals will help with merging energies together, you know, because again, that's two energies merging together, a gas vapor merging into a neighboring rock, you know, the crystal, the rock on side of it, or whatever mineral is on side of it. You know, when this gas go into it, it's going to create a new chemical, you know, in essence, you know. Just like sodium and chlorine or chloride, you know, and coming together, sodium chloride. Don't quote that, but you get what I'm saying. So again, these crystals form like the pneumatolytic crystals. These crystals can help with merging energies together, just like it was created from a gas and solid coming together. You know, because again, it was a gas seeped into a solid, you know, and that created it. Now pneuma, and the prefix of it from the Greek definition is stands for vapor, and then they saying that the root to the lytic word is lion, and that is to dissolve. So to dissolve vapor, or vapor dissolving, you know. And most of these crystals that form in that pneumatolytic vibes are lithium based. So say for instance, lepidolite, muscovite, pedalite, topaz, and tourmaline, you know, which in most most of all those crystals have a high lithium content. You know, petalite, muscovite, lepidolite. You know, when we say tourmaline, you know, red tourmaline, because they got different forms of tourmaline. But red tourmaline or rubellite, which grows in lepidolite, you know, has that lithium energy as well. You know, and lithium helps for people too. You know, helping you to merge with others. So we talk about how, again, these crystals, you know, with a vapor merging into the neighboring rock, you know, those and most of the crystals made from that situation are lithium based, and lithium, you know, helps to calm your nerves and anxieties, because in most cases we got anxieties or nerves about, you know, dealing with certain social situations in a lot of cases, you know, like that introvert that don't want to go outside or don't want to deal with nobody or get nervous in crowds or things of this nature. You know, those crystals help. You know, those lithium-based crystals help for you to merge with those energy. And when I say merge, just basically, you know, for lack of a better word, for you to, you know, merge, connect to to connect with that realm, you know what I'm saying, without feeling, you know, without the anxiety, you know, you're able to be a little more social. And that doesn't mean, again, we have to forcefully be social or whatever. And I'm sorry, I'm just talking out things, but basically, yeah, let me fall out of that before I mess that vibe up. But you know, that's basically it. You know, just a quick little look at crystal formations and, you know, how those energies, you know, go into the play of how the crystals, you know, what energies they give off, so to speak. You know, again, the heat, the pressure, and the speed of cooling, or aka the pressure, the heat, and the space and time is what goes into the, you know, the crystals. Because you know, if silica is allowed some room to grow, you know, along with oxygen and other minerals, you'll get, like, you know, whether it's quartz, smoky quartz, citrine, amethyst, you know, with that because it has some room to grow, you know. But say, for instance, that element of silica or whatever in another aspect may grow in a different, you know, a different vibe, and may produce a different crystal. Again, using some of the same elements but producing a different crystal due to, you know, the factors of pressure, heat, space, and time. So that's basically it, y'all. Peace. Happy now. Now's a vibrate, of course. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now. Peace.